Well, welcome to Raising the Cane, another exciting episode. This is Michael and
Maurice. Good morning or good afternoon.
You hesitated. You say, "Hey, what is my name?" He hesitated a second. He hesitated. This is okay. Maurice, I'm Michael. Okay, we got it. We're your co-hosts.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm Cody Flesher.
And welcome to our special guest today is Mr. Cody Flesher. He's going
Happy to have you.
Yes, he's going to educate us on the legend of the Seeker today and this movement behind it. So, welcome, sir. And it's a great pleasure and to talk about this subject. But could you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name's Cody Flesher. I'm a vocalist and voiceover artist in Newport News, Virginia, home of the announcer of Jeopardy. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, shoot. I could picture Alex saying it. It's slipping my mind right now. But anyway, and so I'm just here as the spokesman for this movement.
Okay.
Fantastic.
We welcome you, and we look forward to spreading the message. But could you tell our listeners or viewers what is Legend of the Seeker? What could you get?
So Legend of the Seeker, back in 2008, ABC got a hold of the rights to the Sword of Truth series, which is a book series by Terry Goodkind, and they adapted it into a TV series that they dubbed Legend of the Seeker. It ran for 2 seasons, and about halfway through the second season, it got canceled. So immediately the fans of the show are like, "This is awesome. We want this to go on forever." And they started a bunch of Save Our Show movements. We wrote producers. We contacted production studios, production companies. We put out big, huge advertisements on New York City bus stops. We pulled out the stops, and it got to the point where, for some reason, I became the spokesperson, and the producers we were writing to, they're like, "Hey, call your dogs off." They're like, they're getting on us every single day. So it wasn't me. I didn't do a thing.
Wow. Good for you.
But so that was probably in 2010, 2011 was when that movement was when it first started. Now, since then, it kind of cooled down, and there's been some other campaigns that we've tried over the years. But with it being, roughly the 10-year anniversary of the cancellation, we decided, hey, we've introduced so many new people to it that we have a fan base that can at least be a guidance for people to say, "Hey, look, these people are actually numerous. We should listen to them." And so that's why we started back on this new movement.
Right. Do you think apparently the books sold millions of copies? Does that translate well to the number of viewers with the show, you think?
The show pulled an average of 2.5 million viewers a week. Now, that's pretty low numbers wise for TV shows, when like Game of Thrones was pulling 13 million or whatnot.
Right.
But the thing that stood against it was that it aired at 10 o'clock on Sunday night.
Oh, wow. That's not good. That's not good.
Exactly. And then
not the best time slot.
Heck no. That's the death slot.
Man,
that's hardly ever advertised it.
So that's bad. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was like they made it, and then we're like, yeah, this isn't going to last very long. We're not going to really put any time or effort into it. So, it was kind of doomed from the start. It was on a Saturday, and then they moved it to Sunday, and we're like, what? Why?
Yeah,
this
that
should be a prime time program.
yeah, that at the time I did not watch the series, but after we made contact, I did start watching, and it's like, wow, this is exciting.
Sure.
It was yeah, God, I was really into it.
You watch it, and you're like, all right, this is cool. It's different.
Yeah, it is different. It was absolutely different.
It's got a little, it's got humor. It's got stuff for families. There's some episodes that are more for adults. Like,
and I was one of the bleary-eyed late Sabbath viewers when it originally aired, the 44 episodes.
Sure.
And it always seemed to me that, like, Xena Warrior Princess, which was one of the shows that Sam Raimi previously wrote and produced, that it really belonged to a primetime time slot, or even a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And like when it originally aired, they actually had, I forget the actress's name, that played Xena.
Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless. Yeah, she actually did the original introduction for the show.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's exciting. I used to watch Xena, Warrior Princess, and Hercules all the time with Kevin Sorbo. Yeah.
Obviously, they're like, hey, this has some connection to it. Plus, Sam Raimi.
Yes.
I wonder why he didn't have any influence to help change the time slot. I guess
it's probably with the network.
Yeah.
And with this being in syndication, they probably didn't have much of a choice or say in what time it aired.
Yeah, because that's a vote of no confidence. When you put something at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, that's just saying you're. It's not if you're going to die, it's when.
It's when.
It's when. Yeah, so, man.
And the worst part about this was this aired just right before the streaming became a thing.
Right.
So, you didn't have those numbers where people could go back in time that say lived on the other side of the world and watch in hindsight and have those numbers counted as well.
Yes.
So you only had the 2 million voters that watched it on night of instead of the extra viewers that you would pick up.
And I take it this was a like the other shows, very expensive when you do some kind of live action like this with, it's like a period piece where it's very expensive.
We've read that it costs $2 million an episode.
Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah. So
we actually looked into doing a fundraiser to try to raise money for an episode, and we found out it was going to cost $10,000 to put a helicopter up in air with a camera and fly it like 100 feet. So we're like, oh yeah,
yes,
we don't have pockets that deep.
No.
Yeah. So if there was streaming and they 2 million viewers over 2.5 whatever million, basically they just made, if they were to sell it per each customer, they just made $1 and some change. If you see what I'm saying, 2 million customers, $1, 2 million viewers, it's like they probably did the math and say, wow, but they did the they helped kill the show from the beginning, though.
They shot themselves on the foot.
I assume we can't get jobs with the network at this point after this podcast.
That's right.
They can't bash Disney. Disclaimer: we own Disney stock, so okay.
I own a fraction of a Disney stock.
Okay. Shoot.
What about now? Even though the show originated in that pre-streaming video era, what about if there is a revival of having it on platforms such as a streaming service, perhaps even premium cable, like Game of Thrones previously mentioned, which was on HBO for 8 years.
Let's shout out to Netflix too, Maurice, in case they're watching.
That's
absolutely.
Right. We've actually regained our focus in this movement. We've moved away from rebooting the TV show. I'm sorry. Rebooting the TV show to more of a silver screen focus, or these alternative production companies. We've approached Netflix, we've approached Amazon. Netflix, there has seemed to be some interest. Like some of the representatives had be like, "Hey, I used to watch that show. I'm going to make a note to pass this on to to the higher ups." So
Nice.
at least there's a possibility that this message is getting passed up the ropes. Also, so ABC owned the rights to the intellectual property, but since then the property, those rights have gone back to, unfortunately, Terry Goodkind passed away, so it's now with his estate.
Oh,
so
wow.
The estate actually has ownership of those rights, which gives you more freedom to work with it now.
Yes.
So that was another reason that we're like, hey, let's try again.
So it seems like this would do well in a streaming type mode, and whether a one-off movie or a series.
Even if we got a one-off movie, we would consider that a success,
a victory. Yeah, and I was
like
thinking,
with Firefly.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, I love the Firefly.
So, yeah, I was now that the rights revert back to the estate, perhaps they're willing to, obviously they would participate in whatever deals and get private independent producer directors involved. At that point, do some fundraising. Maybe venture capital or whatever the source. So
I've started looking into that too. Yep.
Okay. So that would be good.
Now, Cody, for the persons out there in podcast land or who might be tuning into our interview on YouTube, how would you describe Legend of the Seeker if they hadn't had any prior exposure to either the television adaptation, which lasted the 2 seasons of 44 total episodes, or Mr. Goodkind's 21 book epic fantasy series? How would you describe Legend of the Seeker to the uninitiated?
I will have to be straightforward with you. I am unfortunately blind in my left eye and can't see out of my right eye. So when it comes to reading, I have listened to the first book on audio book.
Okay.
But beyond that, I have not been too well versed in the original source material. So I approach this purely from a fan of the show itself.
Okay,
and
absolutely.
The community that I've gained from that, and of course, everybody else is like, the people that aren't true bookies, rah with pitchfork and fire.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we'll take you too.
Yeah.
We don't. The show's different, but you're cool too. So.
Yeah, most of the fans of the books in history aren't really happy with the theatrical or cinematic versions.
So usual.
Yeah,
but I'm sorry to answer your question. Oh shoot! It just popped out of my head again. Okay, so how would I describe it? Okay, so take Game of Thrones and sword fights and horseback riding and all that kind of stuff, and take The Hobbit with the adventure and the long form narrative, that type of stuff. You're trying to defeat the bad guy and get the Stone of Tears was the object, and you smash them together and boom, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a very visual description.
Right. Because I'm sure most people have seen Game of Thrones. Sorry, only the first 15 minutes, the first episode, I was bored out of my mind.
Right. So, hey, Cody, I have a clip. Let me see if I could pull up a clip of what we're talking about. How about a 20-30 second clip here? Let me see. I think I got it.
Oh, okay.
The dead have risen. This crack in the earth separates the underworld from the world of the living.
They were so young.
You've already killed me once. Can't kill me again. As long as it's open, there's no way to prevent the keeper of the underworld. War in the world of the living. Now we're fighting an even more powerful enemy.
Then you need me on the moon.
The fate of the world
This quest is bigger than any of us.
depends on them.
If this is some sort of trick, who will kill me?
Okay, well, how's
That's
that?
exciting.
That oh wow.
That's a show worth watching.
Oh yeah, that equals all the other HBO whatever the
Sure,
shows, Lord of
exactly.
the Rings, and
It's
going-
a combination of all of it.
God,
And
Yeah.
the CGI was awesome.
right.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I cannot see this not being a film or something. I mean, my
Right,
gosh,
right.
I mean, just
It's right there.
it's right there. Gosh, yes. So, well, we'll do whatever we can to help promote this and continue to,
And the music's fantastic.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It really supported the action. It just,
Oh yeah.
it just kept it going. In fact, that scene I cut it off because it was actually a minute and a half, almost minute 21 seconds, and
Right.
it just showed more. It's like wow, this is something. This is something.
Yes, epic in nature.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think all the other fans of sword and sorcery, that's a whole genre now. When I started writing, I'm a writer by trade. It's my side gig now, but
Hey.
it didn't even exist. I don't believe sword and sorcery, right, Maurice? That genre didn't even exist as a separate other outside of action and adventure. I don't think until I don't know what a date would be on it, but.
Well, it was somewhat marginalized because you did have Robert E. Howard who created
right,
Conan and Cole
Right,
in the
right.
30s.
But I don't think they called it sword and sorcery, though. I don't
I
know.
think the name developed later on.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it existed. That type of franchise existed way before we were born. But now it's a label to it. So definitely action, adventure, drama, and I'm sure romantic comedy, RC, rom-com. They always have to throw gratuitous scenes of that in there. So
That's right. That's right.
that'll hook.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that'll hook the millennials.
Absolutely. Hey, Cody, are any of the actors in the original series, are they involved in your movement to resurrect Legend of the Seeker? Or
We have interviewed the three main characters. So about to call him Craig Horner, Bridget Regan, and Tabret Bethel. We have interviewed them. They said that if the opportunity did arise, that they would be interested in reprising their roles.
awesome.
Oh, okay.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. It
So
would
having them on your side, I think should help tremendously.
Sure, definitely. I think Bridget even said, that she still has some of her stuff packed away. She's like, I can grab it right now.
Yeah.
So she was a terrific actress.
Yeah, although I didn't watch it when it originally aired, but watching some of the clips and things, it's like I love the acting. It was real. That stuff I was really there.
Real. Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
this has a place in the metaverse that's coming, the next stage of crypto, and have a world, and the family can have it in some kind of game world, and people can make it a game. That's an extra source of revenue. And so
Awesome.
God, I wish I owned the rights to this thing, man. I guess we may have to write a book about make our own franchise, but
Absolutely.
But
No,
Mark.
Cody, I'm sorry, but like those three actors who are involved. In fact, those were three of the principal characters in the show. Like Craig Horner was Richard Wall. He's the Seeker, right?
Yeah, Richard Cipher, right? The character Richard Cipher, right?
Right. Yeah, he was Richard Cipher in the series.
Yeah.
He was Rawl in the books, but that was another thing that got people. So Richard and the main villain, Dark and Raw, in the books, they're father and son. But because the actors were so close in age, they made them brothers, and that people were like, no.
Yeah, You probably have to get somebody like a Patrick Stewart or somebody of several more decades under his belt to do that.
Right.
Probably not isn't always possible.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But Bruce Spence, holy moly, he knocked that out of the park.
Truly.
Oh man,
He was basically the Hank Aaron and the Babe Ruth of acting.
So every time I see him, like, look, it's Zed.
That's our Zedekiah Zool.
Yeah. Another. Go ahead, Maurice.
And he was the grandfather, right? Of Craig
Right.
Porter's
He
character.
was. Yep. He was Richard's
All right.
grandfather, or the
A lot of
crazy
family
man.
connections here.
Yeah. I did. I've done a couple radio ads for, and I think the last one I did, man, I was racking my brain like, what am I gonna do? Because every once in a while, Dixie will reach out to me. She's like, hey, we're coming up on renewal for our ad. Do you want to make a new one? So I was sitting there thinking, and all I could think was Bill and Ted.
Oh, Bill and Ted. Oh, you're talking old school now. Old school.
I recorded a commercial as like a Bill and Ted character had just gotten back from an adventure, and they traveled dimensions to go, and they met the Seeker and all that kind of stuff. And that was just like, whoa.
I like that. That's imaginative.
Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah, I was also thinking this would be fine in an animated version too. Maybe it could be just put all the options on the table.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that could be a door, just like the Transformers. It started. It didn't start it theatrically. So
Right.
As well as most of some of Hanna-Barbera's and Looney. Even Walt Disney's old stuff. Some of it started from other properties, and you just
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm old enough to remember this.
Oh man, Hanna-Barbera had some great animated features and cartoons.
I remember applying for a job at a Hanna-Barbera. I didn't get it, but I went all the way to Universal. It's right outside of Universal Studios, and it's like, man, I wanted to work there. Do Yogi Bear or something. I don't know, but yeah, those are different options. Cable, streaming, animated, live action, and etc.
Sure.
Maybe too late to say radio. Radio.
Bring back radio.
What's a radio? No, I'm just kidding. Almost that.
The radio version. Okay, but
can you purchase Legend of the Seeker on DVD now? Or
yes, you can, Maurice. Yes, you can. What I just showed you actually was a DVD. It was online.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I have my copies upstairs.
Oh, good.
You could buy both seasons, one at a time or both together, whatever. You can buy them.
All right.
And just about the DVDs. So we had our Save the Show movement, and so when they released the second season on DVD, it says the complete second and final.
Final.
So don't expect anything else.
I was like, you put that in red for a reason. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You did know that.
It's like, that prevented further purchases because it says, well, why do I want to invest in this 2 seasons? It's like,
right.
Right.
Well, it's like, Firefly, Pushing Up Daisies was another one that was one season.
Yeah.
I love Pushing Up Daisies. Yeah.
Oh, I like that one too. Because people equate longevity with the quality and something that and when you say I have two seasons, they naturally would migrate to the thoughts of this isn't too good. Then if it couldn't make more than 2 seasons, it couldn't.
Yeah. And
obviously it was not the case. Can we explain why it went off the air? I mean, so they know it's not with the poor production or directing or writing.
Yes. So what actually happened was that, like I mentioned earlier, this was released in syndicate. And so the syndication company that was planning it and putting it out to all the different television stations went under. They went bankrupt. And so ABC kind of did a frantic, half-baked shop around trying to find a new home for it. And they just were like, oh, nope, couldn't find anybody. So they put it in the locker and they locked it up.
Yeah.
And so that's when we were doing our first movement, and we did the New York City banners, just saying, have you seen the Seeker's home? We need somebody. And it brought a lot of attention to the movement, but it didn't bring a home.
I see.
Right.
So it wasn't the show that wanted to be canceled. It was just that they didn't have a place to show it.
Yeah, you had these unfortunate business developments.
And it
was unfortunately.
It was literally like an 11th hour, 11 o'clock at night decision to not.
It's the folks involved just didn't have a commitment, because I wonder how serious they shopped it around when they already put it at a death hour, 10 o'clock on a Sunday. Yeah, right. You really searched, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't. If they had thought about it, if they had gone to marketing and said, "Hey, what can we do to promote this? What kind of products can we sell?" They might have been in a couple of some ideas, but I thought that they're just like, "Yeah, we're not going to be able to make much money from this because we're not going to spend the time thinking of marketing ideas."
And that is I'm sorry to interrupt, but that is a failure of imagination on the business end, because you look at now, we've got a tendency, and I think it's a positive one, to have the action figures available.
Mm-hmm.
And Lego seems to be involved in not only making the sets with the various intellectual properties that they're licensing for that particular purpose, but also turning them into motion pictures.
Sure.
Featuring the Legoized heroes,
Lego Batman
and villains. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'd buy a Tabrith Bethel as Kara Mason action figure.
Sure.
Yeah, because
from a guy standard, I'd buy it.
Yeah, because we're mentioning these alternatives because Hasbro, to bring back the Transformers. You start stuff as toys and games, and it could lead into the theatrical version. It's a gateway, and so you get millions of kids involved in wanting to buy the toys, and the millennials to invest in the games. Someone will pick it up if you can do that. Yeah,
just as an aside, who else but Peter Cullen can do Optimus Prime?
Exactly.
Oh man,
he was made for that.
Oh yeah,
he was made for that.
Yeah.
What a voice.
Yeah.
I remember way back in the day, and this is kind of to piggyback on what was previously said by you, Cody, and Michael, is that Micronauts and ROM were originally toys before Marvel acquired the licensing back in the day, and they no longer have it, but they created comic books based upon those action figures and integrated them for a time in the mainstream Marvel shared universe in comic book form. And it seems that, Legend of the Seeker would lend itself to that type of tangible, real world playtime adaptation and licensing. And even let's say, keep them in the box. So even if, let's say, you didn't let the kids play with them, having that
collectibles,
prestige box thing.
Mm-hmm. Even costumes.
Yes.
The costumes were amazing.
Right.
Oh, so elaborate.
Absolutely. So I wonder how much the family, the estate, would be willing to consider these things. Did anyone reach out specifically to the estate to do anything to get some support, or they're willing to provide action behind the movement? Or
I would have to catch up with Dixie to find out those details.
Okay.
she does a lot of the back. She and her husband do a lot of the back end, that type of contacting. I'm more on the front end.
Right.
Yeah, you got kind of a division of labor going on.
Yeah. It works. It works for the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it would be, because that would spur some more energy if it was known they're willing to play, the state. If you do all of this and they put a door stopper here and a wall,
then cease and desist or anything.
And then what's the point? Because we don't know, I don't want to be offensive, where they are on this.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. I will get with her, and if she hasn't or is in process, then we'll work on pushing that through just to make sure that we've got the okay and that people are willing to agree with our activities.
And and we're certainly on your side, raising the cane to the extent that we wield our influence in multiple continents and countries around the world.
No, I appreciate it.
We're all in favor of it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I wish we could, I wish we had 20 million lying around. We would invest in it.
I know.
It would be awesome. We might want to get in touch with, that's another thing. So Dixie and I have discussed that it would probably be in our best interest to approach production companies with a script.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
We have a producer that's interested, but he wants a script.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to host a competition for anybody that wants to try to write I
was almost thinking about coming out of retirement to do that. Screen writer. It's been a while since I wrote one. Wow, man, I don't know.
Hey, I mean, if you want.
It's been many years, Maury, since I wrote a script. But
get back on the saddle. Get back on the saddle.
I was wondering if the producer, if he already has existing agreements with some of the majors, or significant minor film companies, or studios. So but I really see this because you have a lot of source material, the books plus the 44 episodes, and
I wish it was 44.
40, yeah.
I think it was 22.
20.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, 22 per each season.
That's right.
Yeah, so 44 total.
44 total. So it's not coming from scratch. So, but a icing on a cake would be an absolute wonderful script on this.
Sure. I do have the guy's name.
Yeah.
His name is William Long.
William
Long.
Not Longfellow. Okay. Okay.
That man's old if it's William Longfellow.
Okay.
He's long gone.
William Long.
John. Silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
William Long, producer. Okay. See what.
How do you get a hold of William Long?
Dixie.
Okay.
She's in contact with him.
Okay.
So, but that would be a great idea to have a script, because when you have a script in hand, it's not pie in the sky anymore. It's not say this is what we want to do. This is what we're going to do. Hey, we got a script, a good one, and
we got dedication.
We
took the time to put this together for you. What do you think?
And unfortunately, that's how Hollywood works. They want you to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then I can mention a whole string of directors and producers who tried to knock on Hollywood's door to no success until they had the stuff already directed, produced, financed. Then all of a sudden, oh, we're interested now. Yeah.
Oh, really? Thanks.
That's how it works. Okay. Just ask director Spike Lee. Just ask him.
You don't even have to swim the last lap. You just get the last 10 feet of the
that's
right. The race.
So, exactly.
So anyway,
I noticed that one of the performers who was in the second season, Jolene Blaylock,
Blaylock.
of course, was no stranger to genre television, having been in Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it seems to, if you get somebody like that, and she could maybe marshal other Star Trek alumni and
Smart.
even people who are kind of back in the, in the newer iterations of the Star Trek mythos, like Star Trek Picard and so on.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
that could be some muscle.
Good idea. I will definitely take that in account too.
Yeah.
Got to use all the sources we can.
Yeah, and in fact, I guess as the economy reopens post pandemic, they're resurrecting many of the pop culture conventions.
That's true.
And and it seems to me like having one of those, whether it's
Even today, people say they go to these cons and they still see people dressed up as Daharan soldiers. They still see them dressed up as confessors. And those costumes, they're unmistakable.
Yeah.
You see that, if you know the show, you know exactly what they're dressed as.
Yeah, we're actually we attend these some of the conventions. We're actually going to one in December at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And so it's the one Maurice, it's the one that Stan Lee owned in Elvira, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, that's the one. And so we've attended that, I think, for 3 or 4 years. In fact, Stan Lee was at the last one and pre-pandemic. So, but we'd go there to make connections and stuff. So we'll be there. So we'll be on the lookout for, those who,
Now you'll be like, I know where that's from.
Yeah, we'll say that. Seeker. You're Seeker of the Truth, right? Susan? Okay. Legend of the Seeker, right? Okay.
That's right.
Okay, you're Zedekus, right? You're Zedekus, okay.
and then you have the mother confessor who was Colin Amno, portrayed by Bridget
Regan. Yep.
Yeah, so
and come to think, in the second season, she was actually I think 4 or 5 months pregnant.
Oh.
So a lot of her scenes were done by her stunt double.
Wow.
Okay.
In the action scenes, yeah.
They could seal that well.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're like, here, we'll just put some different travel attire on you. There you go. You can't even tell.
That's right. Here's your maternity robes.
Right.
So, wow.
How'd you guys do this?
So yeah, definitely. So we'll hit all the convention centers out here on the West Coast and see what we could do. And it would be nice to have some organized approach to maybe renting a booth to show some of the clips from the episodes at the event, and something like that to draw up some current day millennial teenager kids support out here, because if they see it's a big following, they'll do something, whatever something is.
Oh, right.
Because they're looking at dollars behind this. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, we had one of the original Seekers. She was a huge fan of Bridget Regan, and so she knew her pretty well, and she would go to all the conventions that she was at and whatnot, and she hosted a table every year with her husband, boyfriend. I can't remember if they're married or not, but they've been together for years. And so they hosted it for like 8 or 9 years, and they finally were like, all right, this is our last year doing it. But in Texas, every year they got up in the garb. She dressed up in her confessor outfit, had all the boots and the knives and all that kind of stuff. And he got dressed up as Richard in his forest outfit. Yep. And so they spread the message every single year.
That's great.
And then unfortunately, she and Bridget got on a wrong foot or something. I don't know what happened, but yeah. So She's unfortunately not on our side right now.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
maybe one day.
Yeah, reconciliation.
That's right.
She could
That's
have
right.
her own real life redemption arc where she returns to the fold.
That's right. So, but
And,
yeah, I mean, there's
and I understand that much of the Legend of the Seeker was actually filmed in Peter Jackson country, if you will, New Zealand.
That's right. That's right.
Right,
That's why
right.
it's growing up. It was always Scotland and Ireland on the top of my to-go-to list. And once this show came out, I was like, oh, New Zealand top.
I want to see that. Yeah, I'd like to go.
Yeah. They got some gorgeous country out there.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah,
It's
rolling.
ideal for adventure and mysticism and
Got castles, apparently, those sort of things. So
love castles.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
So that's another thing.
So,
And Bridget Regan, I know she didn't stay stationary. I mean, I know she's got other television credits like Grey's Anatomy, Sons of Anarchy. Yeah.
She did a stint in John Wick. She was a bartender, I think.
Oh, John Wick.
Okay.
You hear her before you see her, and I was like, "Oh, there's Bridget."
You recognize the voice, yeah.
Yep. And then Tabret has done some other work. She did The Clinic. That's just the first one that pops into my head.
Okay.
I haven't seen too much from Craig. I think he's still doing acting. He had a stint in music there for a bit. That was interesting. And I guess he's been like a beach bum type. I don't
Yeah. And I guess he's a native born Australian.
Right. He is from Australia. So when he puts on the American accent pretty well, there's a couple times where you're like, oh, there his Aussie slipped out there.
By the way, since you mentioned Australia, I want to give a shout out to our Australian listeners. Yay.
Yay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we welcome everybody.
Raising the cane down under.
Yeah, we're in Australia. I want to thank you, Oceania.
Thank you, Australians. Thank you.
That's awesome.
We're nothing without the people who watch and listen and comment and download and tell their friends. So
yeah,
that's right.
In a similar way, we're with you, Cody, because I know that you're committed, obviously, to the revivification and revival and resurrection of Legend of the Seeker. So we're kind of all in this, universe of intellectual and media property promotion, because it's not just dollars and cents. It's really a commitment to communicating and connecting with people.
Exactly,
right.
And it's a community.
Yes,
and it's a special thing when you can keep that community over this long of a period.
Yes.
I mean, what, 13 years, 14 years now?
Yeah.
I got to say, hey, we're dating ourselves.
Hey, you guys are dating yourselves. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Something, but it is a relationship, and something. The strength of a relationship, I'll put on my Dr. Phil hat for a moment, is it's the longevity, and it's the depth of feeling, and it's the passion, and it's wanting to see the best in the other, whether it's person or property or show or movie, whatever creation you're talking about. And I know you feel that. I sense it from you. And I think in referencing to Dixie and your other allies, that this is something that isn't just a casual dalliance or flirtation. It's really a love affair with Legend of the Seeker.
Right. With me, I have such a close relationship with it because it's how I met my best friend.
Oh,
I was during the first arc of Saving Our Show. I hosted a weekly Skype group that met. So we would
okay.
discuss our favorite episodes, or the episode of the week, and the books, obviously, that it was based on. So I mean, there were times we had 30 people on at one time. You ever tried to Skype with 30 people at one time?
That's a nice number. That's a nice number. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very nice.
now to make this happen, we're going to have to get at least 30,000.
That's right. That's right.
We have to at least get
Yeah.
thousands. So it's possible, though. It's really possible.
Right. So toward the beginning of doing this group, I got everybody to introduce where they're from. And so this guy says, "Hey, I'm from Texas originally, but I'm in Virginia by way of Oklahoma. I'm in the military, in the Air Force, and I just got stationed at Langley Air Force Base."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Well, that's like 20 minutes from where I live." So after the group, I said, "Hey, you want to chat for a bit?" He said, "Sure." And I asked him, "Do you have any family in the area?" He said, "No, it's just me." So it was Saturday, and I said, "Well, would you like come to church and have a family meal after?" He said, "Sure, why not?" So he came over to our house, and after church, and fell asleep on our couch watching NASCAR or football or whatever it was.
That's great.
And my grandparents go, "Should we wake him up?" And they said, "Nah, we'll let him sleep." And so we've been friends ever since.
Oh, that's a good story. That's interesting. So
you kind of brought him into your family.
That's right. That's right. My family is one. "Oh, hi, your name's Sam. Okay, you're part of the family now. Here, you're ours."
that's a good story.
So it's a really kind of a warmth and a welcoming that you're associated with through your family, and you kind of connect with others. It just seems like, just by virtue of what you're projecting in this very positive energy, that I think success is inevitable for you to bring back Legend of the Seeker in some fashion.
And that's why we had, what is it? Hope has a warrior is the tagline of the show.
That's a perfect tagline.
Right.
A good motto to live by.
That's right.
So maybe Marius and I will get in a car, since we're close to Hollywood, and go knock on Paramount or Universal Studios or Walt Disney's door. Let's go. Just get our bail money ready.
Who are y'all? We're here to raise the cane.
And we'll have our toothbrushes and our
we're trying to do so we're Legend of the Seeker. That's why we're here. And we're not moving either until you open up the gate.
Right. We
demand that we.
What is it? The sit-ins they've had where the people have just like laid on the ground.
Right.
The die-ins.
Yeah, those are the real diehards.
Yeah.
The diehards.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened. They just came in and collapsed.
And they wouldn't leave. And they won't leave.
They're a little off the rockers. They're okay.
Yeah, heck no, we won't go. Heck no, we won't go. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Keep it G-rated.
Yeah.
Still rhymes.
Yes, right.
Well, we may try. We'll be knocking on Disney's door, so we do have to keep it G-rated, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, we can't be hired because we have beards, so we can't. We have to shave first.
You ain't kids. You're not supposed to be here.
But actually, speaking of that, it seemed to me that Legend of the Seeker is something that, even though it has sophisticated plot lines and it has all that backstory from Goodkind's 21 novels, that it's something that is really accessible and approachable for people of different ages.
Right. It was rated TV 14. Like you said, they had to cut out a lot of the more adult material from the source material of the books, and so that set people off, obviously, because it wasn't like the books. Right. And mentioning Game of Thrones, if they had done it correctly, it could have been Game of Thrones before that was a thing. But because it was on ABC, it had to be.
Well, anything Disney related, you just can't go beyond. then they do have Touchstone. That's their R-rated or P. Yeah, their subsidiary. They do more racy stuff, but they still.
Right.
Yeah, they Maurice, isn't it Touchstone? I think I
Yeah.
think that's their subsidiary. That's where
You're
they do
correct.
more. That's where they do more crazy stuff. And so they do have an avenue, but then it restricts, it limits your audience though.
Sure.
Because the more you get into closer to R, then your audience narrows and narrows and narrows and narrows. So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
and so like you were saying that it's able to appeal. When I first found it, my sister and I were watching TV on the down low. And because TVs are the devil, that type of thing with the parents. Okay, so we were flipping through the channels and we're like, oh, this looks really cool. And of course, it was in the middle of episode 8. And we couldn't watch the whole thing. But the next day I went to school. I was in college at the time, and I think I had it was final exam time. So I had an exam, but I had a block of time. And I just went in the library and sat down at the computer and started binge watching the episodes that I missed. By the time I finished, I had this whole group of people behind me. They're like, what is this? This looks really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So no, that's good. So yeah, this is exciting. We're gonna pray for success of this, and it's no reason why this shouldn't be brought back in some format. Just got to convince the right people. That's all.
That's right. That's right. We just got to find the right group
and show them that you have a lot of support. It'd be nice if you can get more of the book masters that want the book, that
That's
bought
right.
the book,
That's
because those are huge numbers. I mean, that probably bought the book.
Oh yeah, that's millions of people.
So if you could just some kind of way, mayhaps get them in the back door by saying we're doing a book fair for Terry Goodkind readers or something, and then throw in there oh, by the way, since we have your attention,
for those that are so inclined.
Yeah.
We're streaming Seeker.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it would be nice if we can gauge the interests of the estate. Then that would help further. How far do you push this?
Sure.
What can you get away with? Because, obviously they have to be supportive of it. So,
oh yeah. You don't want to do it without their
their buy-in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need to be directly involved. They just need to just say yes, sign here, sign here, sign here, and then we'll take care of the rest.
We got it from here.
Good here. Yeah, don't tell them you have to do any work, because then it may be no. It's like, well, we don't want to do any work. We're just getting we're getting royalties already. So
we just want the John Hancock.
We just want the John Hancock. Just sign off on the movie, sign off on the toys, the game. That's all we need. So, but I do see this toys, games, and a theatrical release on the silver screen. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I just want to interject, just in the spirit of completion, that Touchstone is technically inactive as of 2018.
Okay.
And that was because Disney acquired 21.
So they rolled it up. Okay.
Because with 21st Century Fox being acquired in 2019, Disney's been using 20th Century Studios, formerly the Fox properties,
right,
and Searchlight Pictures for the more mature content.
Right, Searchlight.
Yeah.
So because of the 21st century, I'm glad you brought that up. I know definitely they have more racier stuff on that. So it's obviously tolerable by Disney. You just have to funnel it through that particular media asset.
Venue.
So,
yep.
You can't be Disney proper. So, and then you can please, you know what? This is important, because if you could go after whatever, it doesn't have to be Disney, but those who border on that line toward that R-rated, it doesn't have to be a PG-17, PG whatever, and touch it. It could possibly be more doable or appreciative by the book readers. The more I'm missing the topic as far as being pure to the book vision. And you can please those people by making a little racier, a little on the edge, and just shop it right to the correct studio or sub studio.
And that's something we've discussed, that we'd probably want it to be R.
Yeah. And
just to be able to include that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think NC-17, no, that'd be too much, but
yeah,
R would be fine.
Yeah. So and then it can get on possibly a HBO, because Game of Thrones is gone now, and I know they are doing a prequel, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's in the works. Apparently.
They're doing a prequel, a House of Dragons and stuff. House of how do you pronounce that, Morris? The dragons, House of the Dragons. What's her name? I can't pronounce it. Daenerys. Yeah, I can never pronounce that last name.
Daenerys, tag, you're it.
Yeah, that's as close as I can get. So, other than that, it's open forum for these. Look like those type of movies or storylines. So, there's a good opportunity here to get this thing done. Just have to have the ducks in a row and the right strategy of promoting it. So
and making sure you kind of use all the social media platforms that are reasonably conducive to sword and sorcery and action adventure and high fantasy, and I think the paranormal and metaphysical elements that are characteristic of Legend of the Seeker. So like Facebook, obviously, Twitter, Instagram, some of the others.
And again, the message to the book audience that we appreciate the series. However, we're going to stay more true to the book on this go around. So
right.
Please sign this petition. Boom, boom, boom.
That's right.
So if they see 5-10 million people signing something, that's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
Like those change.org petitions.
Yeah.
Usually, like, it's political, but sometimes it's entertainment, it's social, it's cultural, artistic.
That's right. That's right, Maurice. That's a platform you could get these folks through. Change. Change. Yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
So
good idea too.
Because they already have an existing platform. You can make your case. You don't have to build that infrastructure.
You have to build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to.
So yeah. So
I don't ever think of reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
It's there.
So anyway, we
rotated.
Yeah. So anyway, we do want to perhaps follow up, and then we can always communicate offline as far as different things we discussed today. Put into perhaps action steps and what we could do. So, but we do thank you for coming on and letting us know about the Legend of the Seeker. And I'm glad because I didn't hear about it originally, and I'm so glad I know now. And so
he understands.
I understand now. I understand now. I understand. I do understand. And so,
and with everything that exists and which is of value in terms of, sparking the imagination and inspiring others, there's a first time for everybody. It's like there's a first time that for someone to have connected with Battlestar Galactica, original or reconstituted versions. First time for somebody to get into Star Wars. First time for somebody to pick up a Marvel comic book. So maybe this is the first time for some people with Legend of the Seekers, but I think you bring them into it and you reach out and you reconnect with the people who were fans of the original TV series.
That's right.
And at least the more reasonable aficionados of Terry Goodkind's 21 book epic, starting
Yeah,
with Sword of the Truth.
You're right. I mean, because 13 years later, you're literally in a whole nother generation.
Yeah.
So I think in the production of this thing that needs to be addressed, possibly about this great new audience of people that were 2-3 years old when the original one aired. Now they're, or 5 or 10. Now they're teenagers or young adults, and what
We're dating ourselves again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is not the old men network.
Right.
We swear.
Swear.
Well, pinky, and not just a pinky swear. We truly swear.
We actually painted these white beards on for dramatic effect. So we just, because they kept carding us, so we wanted to get in, but without having to show our ID all the time. So
that's right.
So it'll wash off after this podcast. It'll wash off.
I got it coming in too in a beard.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I guess that's a wrap. So just want to thank you, and again, and also since I gave a shout out to our Australia folks, our Oceania folks, shout out to Europe. Thank you so much for those listening, watching us in Europe, Asia. Oh wow, thank you. Africa, thank you. And North America, this is where our home is. So thank you so much. United States and Canada and south of the border, thank you so much. And so we'll do a follow-up, see where we're going, like a status update, progress as we go. And please, we encourage you to support Legends of the Seeker. Buy the DVDs, call right when we do it, when there's a campaign to get this thing going in whatever format it can get, whether it's toys, video games, metaverse, this new way of playing games in the future that they're developing, and the silver screen, as well as streaming, Netflix, Amazon Prime. I don't want to leave anyone else. Comcast, which is Peacock.
Yes.
Universal. Peacock. Let me see who else.
and if you want to find our movement, we're at Bring Back Legend of the Seeker.
Yes.
Bring Back Legend of the Seeker.
That's it. Bring back Legend of the Seeker. That's I was going to end how to reach you. So Bring Back Legend of the Seeker. So Google that. They can Google that. Go on. Are you on Facebook?
Yep. Facebook.
As well as Facebook page. So Bring Back the Legend of the Seeker. It's how you can get a hold and participate. And so watch it for yourself. We don't need to convince you. The material speaks for itself. It really does. I showed you a clip. It just speaks for itself.
Doesn't
just. But although as we know, when we evangelize, whether for religious, spiritual, or a secular purpose, even if something speaks for itself, it doesn't hurt to promote and advocate and send out those vibes to one and all.
Point. Yes. Good point. Because please, let's see Legend of the Seeker pop up on the radar. Okay. And
on Google.
Yeah. And if you are the book readers of the author, please give your support. And perhaps, you could see this demonstrated in theatrical release and experience that 3D, 4D, 5D. I'm going way in the future now.
Yes. And and Cody, while I was looking down, I was basically posting on Facebook for people to check out our interview on podcast and YouTube with you.
Yes, definitely. And I will share that myself on my socials.
Yeah, we just started building up our YouTube audience. It's still in its infancy, so we're starting. So this is excellent avenue, and then we'll definitely get this on and put it everywhere, and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, so we'll get this out, and as well as YouTube. So
all right,
it's been welcome. So it's lunchtime.
All right.
Y'all go enjoy.
You too.
Hey,
you have a good one.
Right. So it's been a pleasure meeting you, Cody, and talking to you, and thanks for sharing your time and your treasure with us.
Yeah, we'll stay in contact. Likewise. Yeah, we're gonna definitely stay in contact. Okay.
Of course.
Okay, and do a follow-up.
Feel free to reach out anytime. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
But
Raising the cane out.
raising the cane.
Peace. God bless.
Peace out.